What makes you, you? Do you know who you are? Are we just products of the influences around us? Are we most like ourselves on our best or our worst days? And how did you become the person that you are? Are we our values, or what we put up around our home? Are we what we watch, or what we read? Are we what we do, where we live, or where we've been? Are we what we own, what we look at on our phone? Are we what we eat, who our family is? Or are we the generations gone before?
Who am I?
All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us today as we look at identity. Identity, so important, I think. And I think particularly in today's times where there's so many different voices that we can listen to, so many different options. And whereas in previous generations, often things were a bit more rigid, we had a clearer idea of who we were, where we came from. Today, it can be a bit of a mystery. We can find ourselves wandering here and there. And I think that matters, because if we're not sure who we are, then we're just going to go with whatever feels best. When we know our identity, we have sort of a grounding to make our decisions and to sort of direct our path in life. It starts with knowing who we are. So I think a good place to start is to go back to a time when I guess they still had the wrestle of who they were, but also there was a clearer voice speaking about who we are. And interestingly, we're going back to a time in the beginning of a nation where they were grappling with their identity as a people, and the voice of God speaks these 10 sayings to give them this direction. And I think we can bring out some principles that are still relevant today. So pretty famous, you probably know them as the 10 Commandments. God spoke all these words. So God is speaking to this people that he has brought out of slavery. God has set them free. He's telling them, look, I'm your God. It matters that I am your God. You shall have no gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on earth beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. It matters who we honor, who we direct our worship to, our reverence to. And I think we do that in today's society too. What do we make space for? Who or what do we esteem? Certain days of the year, such as Anzac Day here in Australia, we give that special significance, and that shapes our identity as a people. And here God is telling this newly formed nation of Israel that they need to honor their God. God here tells that he punishes generations, third and fourth generations of those who hate him, but shows love to 1,000 generations for those who keep his commands. His love far outweighs and exceeds, goes beyond his judgment. If we continue, what are some other principles here that are important in finding our identity? You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Now that's about honouring God in his name again. But remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days so you labour and do all your work, but on the seventh day, that's the Sabbath to the Lord your God. This weekly reminder of who they are and who God is. We need those reminders because there's so many forces and voices pulling us this way and that. And without regular rhythms reminding us of who we are and where our direction is focused, we can get sidetracked. So they have this regular reminder. On it you shall neither do any work, neither you nor your son, male or female servants, animals, foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea, and all that is in them, but he rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. So it matters how we spend our downtime. When we work, often we're under authority or we have things and deadlines, but what do we do with our days off, our spare time? I think that is where identity is formed. Is our rest producing good things in our life? It's a good question to ask because we need that rest. Let's continue. This is about other people now. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. So important the way we treat other people. I think identity is about the people in our lives as well as ourselves. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife or the servant, the ox and donkey, basically anything that belongs to your neighbor. So that's about ourselves, what we desire inside. And that's important too. Where are those desires leading you? If you're always wanting what everyone else has, comparing yourself to others, that says something about an insecurity in yourself. And that's not going to be a helpful thing when it comes to our identity. So some questions that I think are going to be helpful as we think about our identity and whether our identity is being strengthened in good ways, in positive ways, or whether it's slowly being eroded as we're being pulled this way and that. So firstly, do we honor what is good and lasting? Do we have certain rituals or rhythms in our life where we focus our attention on what is good and lasting, on God, if you believe in God? What do you do with your free time? What is the quality of your rest? It's a question about identity. Do we honor the wisdom of older generations? We see honor your parents. Or do we just disregard where we've come from? How do we treat other people? It's so important that we care for each other, that we create a culture where we value each other. And lastly, do our longings bring about peace, both inside us and with each other? So looking at these 10 sayings where this new nation is being formed, I think it says a lot about their identity. Who are they as a people? And I think we can look back, ask ourselves these questions, and find a good place for us to look at where our identity is found. So thank you. Great to see you, Fairgo Computers, and Anthony. Thanks for joining me, and hope you can join me next time. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments. And this number on the screen, no, it's not there. That's all right. But you can message me down below, and be happy to continue the conversation with you. Thanks for engaging, and I'll see you next time.